Welcome to another edition of the Trey Cruz Show. We have a very special edition. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and this also will be replayed on www.blacktvs.com or Black Watch Television on your Roku channel. Um, have a really serious show tonight. We have William Poole from Decatur, Alabama, and Adriana. Activist and also the family member of Steve Perkins, who was killed by Alabama police about 2 months ago, and the end of September.
Yep, September the 29th.
September the 29th. William, can we start with you, and can you tell us who Steve was?
Excellent black man. He was a king, and he was a great human being, even from a little boy coming up. He was raised right. We were from a town called Hillsboro, Alabama, where I think all the kids there are raised right.
Yes, sir.
And his mother, a church-going woman, his daddy, and man, he was just a great guy. He was a great husband, great son, great brother, great cousin, and most definitely a great father. Oh man, can't take nothing from him. Stand-up guy, my man. I love him.
And he was also a homeowner, right?
Yes, sir. Always at a young age. When we graduated high school, when he graduated high school, Steve was out the house. He had his own place. He always wanted to be, always independent.
Indeed. People in the community, brothers, family, sisters, his mother, he had a lot of people in his life that really loved him and looked up to him.
Oh yeah. And they depended on him.
Okay.
That's the man, daughter depended on him.
Speak on that.
His wife depended on him. His mama depended on him. His brothers and sisters. They depended on him, man. I depended on him. He was loved, man, in our neighborhood. Man, he was a great guy, man. He didn't deserve what happened at all. At all, man.
Right.
It's just sad, man.
Hey, Adriana, do you want to tell us what happened that night?
Yes, so on September the 29th, 2023, after 1 a.m., I truly believe that he was lured out of the house by the tow truck company, All Star Recovery. So the Decatur Police Department, they put out a statement after 2 a.m. via Facebook and the local news station. And they stated that there was a male that didn't comply to police. And they stated that the male had a gun and pointed at the police. And so they took it upon themselves to kill him. But thankfully, the neighbors in his neighborhood that loved him so much, they showed the videos to the family, and the person that they actually called is Pooh. They called him and said, hey, something happened with the police. Somebody needs to get here, come to the house. The neighbors stated that he was on the ground and they were in the house, ramshacking the house. The crime scene's outside. So why are you in the house? So they continued to do things that were unlawful that night. And so that's why we're making sure that what they attempted to be a cover-up, that we allow it to be exposed and brought to the light, that we continue to spread awareness for Steve. So it took about 6 seconds, the encounter with the police officers, from the time they come around the corner from hiding behind his house. We've talked to several law enforcement officers, attorneys, and lawyers here lately. We've been meeting with them, and we asked them, when is it okay or when is it protocol for the police to be hiding out not make themselves notable, not knocking on the door, when it's okay for them to engage in a civil matter. And so from our studies and understanding from these people, even in Decatur City, they stated that that is never okay. That is not protocol. And the only time that it is protocol, if it's a call directly to the police 911 call, that it's a domestic violence dispute. They don't want to be ambushed, so they would never, just show up on the scene. So particularly that night, they drove about 4 houses down to the right of Steve's house. They left the car there, turned the lights off, and we were able to see this because of other neighbors' cameras. Then they had an officer that was across the street behind a car. They're in people's yards. You don't have a search warrant. You're trespassing on people's property. Did you even have a 911 call? So basically they ambushed him. They hid out for about 15 or 20 minutes and they waited. And so finally when he come out, he says as calm as day, put my truck down. So if you're stating that he threatened the tow truck driver, I have questions. Why did you bring him back to the house? So now you, Decatur police, you're putting this quote unquote innocent tow truck driver in harm's way. So that's the first thing you broke. The secondly, if there's a repossession and it doesn't go well, it is in their policy and law for them not to, for them to just try it again another day. So you brought him back, and also repossession, that's not the police's responsibility. That's a civil matter. So who gave you permission to engage in the civil matter? So it's just everything was just simply wrong from start to finish.
And also could you talk about the chief of police said he misspoke? Was that the chief of police or the mayor in the beginning that had to retract the statement?
Yes. Todd Pinion is the chief of police of Decatur Police Department in Alabama, and he encanted his statement stating that the statement was prematurely released on Facebook. No, it wasn't prematurely released. You didn't think that people had evidence or had video footage, because the night of the shooting, they were going around asking people for the footage.
Yeah.
And they stayed, because they wanted to get it. They wanted to see who knew, who was aware. So thankfully they had sense enough to say that they didn't have cameras, and they gave the information and the cameras to the family.
Witty and intelligent. That's good. And so he said that they told him to get on the ground or something like that, but that wasn't true, right?
Definitely not true. So after Steve so the tow truck driver goes up, locks his, gets ready to lift his truck. And so Steve comes out of the house, and to my understanding, because a dog was barking. So he comes outside the house to try to see what was the commotion, what was going on. And he told the tow truck driver, he said, put my car down. If I came there before, if you already been here, I'm not going to calmly tell you to put my truck down.
Exactly.
He calmly said, put my truck down. And so shortly after that, like a second later, 2 police officers come from behind his house, from out of hiding. They come from outside his house, and they're beginning to say something. They don't even finish their sentence. Before the officer finished his sentence,
he done shot 3
one
times.
of the officers had already started shooting. You didn't give him a statement to comply to. And even if you gave him a statement, you didn't allow him to comply. So Steve's up with his hands, as he's holding a flashlight up high.
That's right.
Basically trying to see, who's there. Because of where the truck was where the truck was sitting, he had no earthly idea who was there or if no one was there. He probably thought, did somebody else come with the tow truck driver? It's the middle of the night. You awake him out of his sleep. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know who's outside, who's there. Everything is just a shock.
Man, he got to go to work in the morning.
He's resting for work, trying to see. And so he just started, the officer started shooting, and he started walking up on him. And, officers are trained to do tap, tap, double tap. He just started releasing bullets as if he's like in a war zone. And he's continuing to walk up on him. And in one of the videos, I don't know which one you have, but one of the videos, you could see the dust coming up
Steve on the ground.
So he's on the ground. He's continuing to walk closer to him as the dirt is coming up. So that you're continuing to walk to it. Like, why would you do that? What is going on?
He wanted to kill him. That's what's going on. He wanted to kill him. He meant to kill him. Ain't no coming back from that. What you gonna say? I didn't mean to.
I think in the video footage it shows the officers walking like through the neighborhood, so it's not like they let him know they were coming or anything like that. Like kind of like an ambush. Are you guys okay with me playing the video security footage?
It was an ambush.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then you could explain what we were talking about.
So that's the truck right there. Right beside the house, the garbage cans, the 2 garbage cans. That's how you always bag him, right up against the garage.
And so on the side of his house, this is where the police officers are coming from. So there's no way you can see them.
Oh, he meant to do it.
You see where he came from out of hiding? There was no way that he's on the other side of the truck. He can't see them.
They ambushed him. Like you just said earlier, they ambushed him.
Yeah, he didn't have a chance, or didn't even have a chance to respond or know who that was or anything like that.
And he showed it, call him over there. He showed it, call him over there.
Right now, what are the family's demands, or what are your demands right now to the chief of police and to the mayor also?
Well, first of all, as a community, and then them being family, our demands are to terminate the police officers, arrest them, and prosecute them. And we know that there are different stages and steps to it, but the first step is to be honest. First of all, decriminalize him. I want you to come out and state that you lied. There wasn't an accident. I can't accidentally type a statement and release it and then try to come back weeks later and encant my statement. No, you purposely put that out there and you lied. So let's come up front and purposely tell the truth. You have officers who were sworn in, who are paid by our taxpayers' dollars, that has lied and did everything that they were not supposed to do. You did not follow protocol. You engaged in a civil matter. You did not knock on the door. No one knew that you were police, and then you were wearing TAC gear. Did you even make a 911 call? So where's the 911 call? We need the body cam footage, audio and visually. We need the raw footage so that we can know. We've seen the cameras from the neighbors. We want to see it from the cameras that you all have. And you have the cameras, you have the footage. You don't want to show it because that's going to show the nation how disgruntled and evil that your police department is. And so, yes, we desire for the chief of police to resign and to be terminated as well, because you are responsible for those officers. If you have officers that are plotting and scheming and planning ambush, you don't need to be there. You don't have control of them.
He need to go to prison too.
Everyone that is involved needs to be held accountable to the highest extent.
That's right. The tow truck driver drove off with the truck, right?
Yes. And that's evidence. So how did you allow him to drive off with the tow truck driver, but the neighbor across the street, Justice Shepard, he witnessed, the end part of it, and they didn't let him go back in his house. They said that his house was considered a crime scene. Okay, if his house is considered a crime scene now, and he can't go outside, how in the world did you allow the tow truck driver to leave? And that makes me think, what is the connection of the tow truck company and Decatur Police Department?
Right.
Are y'all running an underground chop shop? I mean, what's going on?
That's what they're doing.
Who owns the tow truck company?
Man, some people from Mississippi, I think.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
100 yards from Steve and Katrilla home, man. Wasn't even walking distance, man. Walking distance.
Where the tow truck company or?
Yes, where the tow truck company is, right behind their home.
And he
right behind the home, man. Right behind it. Throw a rocket. You could throw a rocket, hit the roof.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the tow truck driver drove off within 4 minutes.
Crept off like he was in a parade.
Mm.
They weren't trying to stop him. Them criminals wanted them to leave the crime scene. That's exactly what happened. They the real criminals in this situation.
Man, for real.
Yeah.
So the picking up of shells in the yard. Can y'all speak to that?
Yes. So we've had neighbors to show us video footage before even discussing the picking up the shells, them not even being in a hurry to call EMT. So this happening around, let's say 1 something. So this quote unquote police call to have the emergency personnel get there, it's after 2. And we both see that it happened in 6 seconds. So what did you do between the time of this incident and the time of you calling EMT? If you knew that guns were released, isn't one of the officers trained to go ahead and call in and dial in and have emergency personnel there? Why did that take place? Did you want him to die? Because we don't have any footage of them doing CPR to help him, revive him, but we do have footage of them going into the home while he was outside bleeding out. We do have footage of of the police department telling family members that he was in critical condition and having emergency surgery, and he was outside bleeding out,
asking for help, begging. And one of them had his foot on Steve too. One of them officers had his foot on Steve.
Why he was dying?
Yeah, why he was down, man.
And then they also patted him down. And in one of the videos, they said, let's see if he has any weapons.
Yeah.
And then one of the officers stated, that's a gun. That's a gun. And the other officer said, that's not a gun.
That's exactly.
Oh, wow. See?
Exactly.
So he basically was unarmed when he was shot, but they're trying to make it seem like he was, like they always do, you know. That's what.
Yeah.
Up here we call it the art of the cover up. So that's kind of what you guys are explaining. What happened down there with Steve, and they do it instantly too. Start going through their mind, trying to make up a reason why they supposedly murdered him or assassinated him, ambushed him. But the picking up of shells in the art of the cover up.
Yes, so because it's an officer involved shooting, Aaliyah has to be involved, so the investigators are to come.
Who's Aaliyah for people around the country that might not know?
Alabama law enforcement agency.
Okay.
So basically the state police.
Okay.
Because Decatur Police Department is the city and they're the state. And they're housed in Montgomery, Alabama.
For those of you here in Minnesota, that would be like our BCA.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly right. So they were called in because it was an officer involved shooting, which they're not trusted. They all drink coffee and tea together.
That part.
So they came, but prior to them coming on the scene, the officers that killed them and murdered them were seen picking up shell cases.
Yeah.
They were bagging them in hazardous bags. Just everything they were doing was just wrong. Because the crime scene is outside, you have no business going into anyone else's home. You murdered him outside. That's the only crime scene that should be taped off, and you should be stepping outside of the tape, awaiting for the investigators to take place. You can't investigate yourself. You can't police yourself. So you shouldn't be doing anything but waiting until they. Matter of fact, after that, you should have left, but you didn't. You should be going to give your report, and like. If we were to give a false statement in a report, we're going to be charged with that.
Be in jail for sundown.
So why aren't they?
That part. So speaking to that, the chiefs admitted that protocols weren't followed that night, or
yes, he did. earlier part of this week, they had an internal affairs, and they had a investigation in house, and he did come out and state that he agreed that protocol was not followed and that their procedures were violated. And he says now it's on the mayor to make his decision. So he's already stated that he put in a referral for them to be terminated. And then now it's on the mayor, which is Tab Bowling.
Should have did that 2 months ago.
Right.
Yeah. He telling us something we already know. Come on now, JD Shellnut. He's telling us stuff we already know, man. Let's
And
get some custody.
can you speak to what it's taken to get to this point? You know, how much work you guys, your organization, can you say the name of your organization?
Yes, we represent Standing in Power, and it's a social injustice grassroots movement for North Alabama. We have tried together with also partnering with other organizations across the country to make sure that we continue to bring awareness to Steve through demonstrations, through protests, through email, through calling, being engaged at certain events, partnering with blackouts as far as boycotts, just whatever it takes. We have to come in together in solidarity, making sure that we're on the same page and that we can, pull on those who desire justice for Steve and who knows that this was wrong, that this is an act of evil. I truthfully believe that his death is really not in vain, because this has been going on for years and years and years. But this is the first time in Decatur, Alabama, that it has been brought to life to this extent. This is the first time where you have people in a community, black, white, blue, yellow, brown, that's coming out saying this is wrong and we're not going to stand for it. We've been going to city council meetings on Mondays on each, one of the months. The churches are coming together, the black churches, the black clergy, they're stepping up and stepping out. We have different organizations just taking a stance together, because it's going to take everyone. And like I always say, it's going to take everyone everywhere, because from the beginning, they wanted to cover it up. And that is our job, to make sure that doesn't take place.
And I'm glad that you guys are building the partnerships and the collaborations to address old racist systems that have been oppressing us for a long time, especially in a state like Mississippi, where slavery was legal, where we know what Jim Crow went to. We know our ancestors really had to fight down there for civil rights and the right to vote and all that. And then for you guys to be standing on their shoulders to have to fight for justice for Steve right now, today in 2023, where we know is like one of the most racist states in the nation. We want to give hats off to you and send strength, power, and love to the family of Steve Perkins. If people want to help, or if anybody wants to donate to Steve or your organization, what are those what are those links?
Okay, so the GoFundMe, which is for the Perkins family, they can search Clay Steve Perkins, innocent black man killed, and it'll just pop up. And we have a link tree. It's a linktree.com/standing in power. I'm gonna double check and make sure. And it has the links for everything. So for the family, and for standing in power.
We
also, it's linktr.ee/standing in power, STANDINGIN power. And so everything's on there. You can scan the QR code once it pops up, and we have a spot where you donate to the family. We have a spot to where you can contribute to the movement, because we're having billboards put up, different places. So make sure everyone's aware. We canvass the neighborhoods. We go to different cities and canvas, just making sure that not only us are involved in this movement and not only us are aware of it.
And just one more, I'm not going to keep you guys too much longer, but what policy changes do you think are important in Alabama that you think need to be changed to stop this from happening ever again?
Okay, so the House Bill 289 is already a current policy that was passed, and it was in regards to the body cam footage. So it is stated now to where the next of kin or legal representation can follow certain steps to where they can view the body cam footage, but Aaliyah still didn't allow the family to see it, even though it was requested. And I feel as if the gray areas with that needs to be amended and changed. But I also would like to work towards a bill to where they're not allowed to do repossessions past a certain time.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good bill. That's something that needs to be adopted nationwide too. But yeah, please strongly look into also just a recommendation. We had some issues up here with Khalil Azad. He was found dead in a lake, and just look into the tow truck company, a little more in their relationships to the department and things like that. One more time, this is the link tree right here that we have up for people that are interested. Can you give all the links again one more time? Links to the websites, GoFundMe, the link tree, and
yes.
then we can sign up.
So the link tree is linktr.ee/standing empower STANDINGINPOWER, and then you have it to where you can look at all the articles, donate to the family, donate to the movement, and just continue to see the timeline and the dates. Everything that you basically need to help is on there.
Thank you. I tell you another bill that needs to be on there. Quit killing black people. That'll be a good bill. Quit killing black people.
That part.
Especially if they on
Yes.
home. Shit. Quit killing black people. Black men, black women. Let us live. We deserve to live too. Shit.
Man, that part. That would be the best bill to pass right away.
Yeah, man. Cause Steve was a good father, man. Good husband. For real, man. The daughter come out of school, this man put the car in park and go around and open the door for his baby. That's what we do. We raise like that. Good raising, man. Shoot. He's supposed to be here with us right now. Not in the
Exactly. Is there any numbers down there that people can call or demand? Like, you got the number to the mayor's office or the number to the prosecuting attorney?
Don't call 911 because it's a joke. It's a joke in Decatur.
Nah, I know that part.
Big joke in Decatur. Don't call them. Call Hillsborough. Call Chief Taylor to come help you.
We'll get them in there. But thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're gonna have you guys back in a couple of weeks to get us an update. We got to stay on this, and we got enough networks to do what we need to do to love and support one another. So let's make sure we do that. Hey, if you're watching this show, please make sure that you support this family and this organization so that they can hold the killer cops accountable in Alabama and get justice for Steve Perkins. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great week too. Peace.
All right, man.
And thank you all for tuning in to another edition of the Trey and Crew Show. Also, here this week, there was some local news. The Minneapolis City Council voted not to give the $15 million to the Minneapolis police for extra recruitment efforts and everything. And we think that was the right thing to do. There's a consent decree in Minneapolis, and from the sounds of it, they need a consent decree in Decatur, Alabama. This show will be rebroadcasted on www.blacktvs.com. Watch television on your Roku channel. Have a prosperous week. Peace.